Hello and welcome to Forever Cricket on Forever Sports. For today's preview, as the Proteas return to action, they begin their three-format tour against England tomorrow when they face the current reigning world champions. And it's going to be a pretty big match for a number of reasons. First of all, obviously, South Africa currently sort of looking down the barrel of potential World Cup, or of missing rather, the World Cup automatic qualification due to the fact that we've been shockingly bad in our ODI cricket. And as a result, the idea of potentially having to go and play in the World Cup qualifiers is becoming a bit of a real possibility. And, basically with us having scrapped the Australia series next year for whatever reason, in terms of whether you can justify it or not, the reason is obviously because we want our players to be playing in the newly launched, what will be the newly launched South African T20 League, whatever it may be called, whatever it might be, or maybe it might work and stuff like that. But so as a result, we basically have to go and beat England in their backyard. That is the reality. We have to beat England, and we've got some very big matches ahead of ourselves if we are to qualify. And I think, we are looking at a very difficult, daunting task because, first of all, you don't just beat England in England, and we're talking about an England side who are very dangerous in ODI cricket. Yes, they have come off the back of a series loss against India, but the brand of cricket that England play when it comes to limited overs cricket, and especially the brand of cricket they'll try and play under Joss Butler, it's a fearless brand of cricket, which means that they can be beaten, but they can also beat any team on any day. That is what they can do. The question is, what will they do? Now, if we're looking at tomorrow, for example, we are looking about a side that is under a lot of pressure and a lot of players who are under a lot of pressure. Now, the big sort of news for South Africa is that there's no Temba Bavuma for the series. He has been ruled out with injury. As a result, Keshav Maharaj will be leading the side across the three ODIs, which first of all means that he'll be playing the three ODIs, which is fine. But I think that now is a massive opportunity for the likes of a Janne Milan, the likes of a Reza Hendricks if he gets an opportunity, somebody like Aiden Markram, players who are not necessarily guaranteed a starting spot all the time in this format. Although I think Janne Milan, he has to be. These days he is guaranteed a spot, but has to work really hard to keep that spot, unfortunately, because he is in a position which is quite precarious in terms of the opening position in the Proteas lineup. But I do think there's a lot of pressure on the likes of Aiden Markram, and I think that if he does play, or Reza Hendricks plays, there's a massive opportunity for them to try and solidify their spot in this format, because Quinton de Kock, Janne Milan, Rassie van der Dussen, and David Miller, for me, are the first four names on the team sheet from a format and a recent history type of view. Heinrich Klaasen very recently has been very good, and I've never been the biggest Heinrich Klaasen fan, and I think that a lot of people have probably share a similar point of view in terms of a player that we all knew could deliver and can deliver, but didn't deliver enough at times. But he's in a very rich realm of form. Kaya Zondo, also somebody who's on the trip as well, might be getting an opportunity coming off the back of a pretty impressive season. So this is what the possible lineup tomorrow could look like. I think the opening partnership will be Quinton de Kock and Janne Milan up front. That makes sense. Rassie van der Dussen at 3. But for me, it's a bit of a 50-50 if they're going to back Aiden Markram at 4. They're going to bring Reza Hendricks in and bat him maybe at 3 and have Rassie van der Dussen at 4. For example. So there's a couple of pros and cons for that. When it comes to the all-rounder position, based on the warm-up games, we've had 2 warm-up games against the Lions. We won one and lost one. We got beaten by 6 wickets in the first ODI where they chased 321 in 37 point overs, which is pretty poor from South Africa's perspective. But we did also then beat them by 107 runs in the follow-up match. So based on the warm-up games, we have seen Didier Petlacqua playing in both games. Now, he did take about 5 wickets across the 2 games, and importantly scored a very handy half-century in the first game, or the second game rather, a 67 or 53, which I think stands him in good stead to potentially play tomorrow. Heinrich Klaasen is also, he's been back in the round, scored a very good 100, scored a 50 in the other match, so he's been in the rounds. He had him along with a century as well in that first match, which we did lose, but getting a century is probably the main thing there. So, I think it's going to be interesting. In terms of the bowlers, Lungi Ngidi, Arnold Nokia, for me, are the obvious ones. There is no Kagiso Rabada. He is being given time also. He will not be playing in these matches. And I think that is a massive loss for us, obviously. we get an opportunity to see what these other guys can do. And the big critical question is, will we start seeing South Africa continuing to go with a two-spin attack? And I quite like it. I definitely would be starting with Tabré Shams and Kesha Maharaj. And I think that the problem is, if you're looking at this lineup, for example, you're looking at Petlakwa, Maharaj, Nokia, Ngidi. You're looking at and Shams. You're looking at five bowling rounded sort of players, and then you've got something like Aiden Markham who can chip in with a burst spin. The biggest worry, I suppose, is only three seamers in Petlakwa, Nokia, and Ngidi, and there could be the option of playing an additional or rounder, for example. And in place, you probably leave out an extra batsman, which would give you another bowling team option. For example, if you were to go with Dwayne Pretorius, or else you then have to drop out one of your spinners and Shams and Maharaj and play an extra seamer there, and then look at Aiden Markham for some spin. And he is a very handy spinner, especially in the limited overs format. So interesting to sort of see what we go there. If you look at the warm-up games again, Marco Jansen only bowled 4 overs across both matches, so I don't get the feeling that they're going to go to Marco Jansen. Lizard Williams, for example, bowled 5 overs. You kind of felt, I personally felt that they were going to play, but they would have given more opportunity in the warm-up games, and they didn't. So that's what I kind of think that we sort of around. These are sort of the options we can look at. In terms of England, it's going to be a very big match for them because Ben Stokes has today announced his retirement from ODI cricket, and he has said that the schedule at the moment does not allow him to perform at his best, and as a result, he will be stepping away from the ODI game, which means that England have lost one of their primary and best players, and he'll be playing his last game tomorrow. So he'll be looking to go out for a bang for a start, but there are a lot of very dangerous players in this English side, and it's a very batting stacked side. Jason Roy very aggressive at the top of the order. Johnny Bairstow, he's full of confidence at the moment. Joe Root, who's a very deceptively good ODI player, and he's so focused on the fact that he plays his test sort of his best format, but he's a very handy ODI player that's got incredible stats. I mean, he averages over 50 in ODI cricket at a strike rate of 86. So he's an incredibly handy ODI player. And then you've got the likes of a Just Butler who can just take a game away from you. Moeen Ali, for example, somebody who offers a lot with both the bat and ball. So I think it's going to be an interesting series. And I think that it's do or die time now for the Proteas because they, especially with the cancellation of the Australia series, they've kind of been thrown into this hole, which is not necessarily their fault, but they now need to start doing a bit of talking. Unfortunately, the reason they're in this position because we have had very poor results against opposition where we might should have had better results from an ODI perspective. As a result, there's a lot riding on tomorrow, and we do need this side to pitch up and deliver. Let me know what you think is going to happen down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen. I'll chat to you soon.